for over 8 months this year. Over 8 months. There's 12 months in a year. So practically for the entire year of 2023, Sudan has been going on with a genocide. Day and night of terror. This is being called the worst humanitarian nightmare in history. Although it's the worst humanitarian nightmare in history, I'm wondering, why is it not on global news? I'm going to tell you why. Over 27 towns have been massacred. Thousands slaughtered as death went door to door. Families murdered, bodies rotting outside, and mass graves even appearing on satellite imagery. Children are becoming soldiers that are being used and killed. On June 16th, the governor of Sudan's West Darfur region had been brutally murdered. Abdallah Akar was killed shortly after accusing the Rapid Support Forces, also known as R.S.F, paramilitary group, of committing genocide. He'd also raised fears that Arab tribes would attack African ones in the region. The R.S.F, also known as the Rapid Support Forces, is at war with the Sudanese Army, which accuses them of the atrocities taking place. In turn, the R.S.F has blamed the army for inciting ethnic tensions and arming rival groups. Darfur has a dark history linked to the R.S.F. The paramilitary unit morphed out of Arab militias accused of atrocities against African tribes in the early 2000s. Over 9,000 people have been killed. Over 9,000 people have been killed. Over 56 million forced to flee their homes during war. Over 56 million. And these numbers I'm giving you were from October. We're in December. The worst humanitarian nightmare in history. So I ask you right now to not only push this message so those that need to be aware of the genocide happening in Sudan and why the Arabs have united to create the R.S.F, the Rapid Support Forces, right? In order to take out those that are African tribes who are not Arabs. This isn't only just going on in Sudan. Between the Arabs and those that are non-Arabs, this is also happening in Nigeria. Not to the point of genocide like this, but this division. And I'm going to talk about where this division comes from. Because this is where you get this whole light skin, dark skin nonsense, right? This is a mental colonization. And it came from the Renaissance era. Interesting, Beyonce, that you choose that as the name of the Renaissance era, the Renaissance art influenced by people like Michael Angelo and other artists of that nature. Whenever they drew paintings, first of all, they took the original black Jesus and everybody else, black God, turned them into white. And if you look at pictures, even when I went to the Supreme Court the other day and I walked in and I was looking at the tiles, it even has the same images from Michael Angelo, which shows the portrayal of the Jesus and Saint Mary and Saint Michael, who would show him beating a devil that was black. So I also want to tie this back to the history of the Democratic Republic of I also want to tie this back to the history of Dominican Republic and Haiti. See, the Dominican Republic, they had a leader at one point, a dictator back in the day, that said pretty much because Haitians did voodoo, he considered dark evil and white to be pure and godly. And so that ignorant connotation has stayed within the Dominican Republic. So that's why they feel so comfortable being racist, even amongst themselves, because it's you're light-skinned, you're dark-skinned. And let's take this even further to the region of Asia. When I lived out in Asia, it would be sunny and gorgeous, and I'm showing skin, and they're covering their skin because being dark is associated with being poor. This is the reason why when we say that there's black everywhere around the world, Honduras, Asia, this, that, Latin America, Brazil, everyone looks at you like, what, there's black people there? We're everywhere. Just like in the world of modeling, when I lived in Thailand, I went out there to I was like, oh, let me see how I could model here. Child, the agency wrote me back and told me to pretty much read the room. We don't do dark skin out here on billboards, on ads. That was what the agency wrote me back. Their words were pretty much, my kind does not get booked in Thailand. And I find that so interesting because black is beautiful. The darker you are, I find you to be gorgeous. Like when I see the light hitting you and it's soaking in the skin and then you moisturize, I'm like, queen, give them everything. Don't dilute nothing. Make them shiver to their bones. That's why I want you to be so confident that your confidence makes them uncomfortable. What? This is the era I'm in. When white people are around me, I make them feel uncomfortable. Because the same way you've wanted me to feel so inferior to you, my boldness makes you say, who that? Who she thinks she is? Baby, I'm white. I'm about to start filling out job applications, Asian raisin. Yes, you better believe it. Because caucasity, audacity, I have that. Why can't I be white? Am I delusional? So is this the same